Hey, what's up everybody? Today I want to talk about a wine that is very unique and special. Now I've been in the business for about 10 years now. I just recently started collecting fine wines and along the way I've met a lot of really savvy wine collectors, people with like large collections, very expensive wines. Even so, I'd be willing to bet that most of them do not have this. This here is called Wine of the Sea and it's aged under the ocean. I'm not kidding, there's literally barnacles still on the bottle. So Wine of the Sea is the brainchild of a man named Marco D'Azeglio. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe he's from Croatia, from what I gather. He's a mussel farmer and a wine collector. And that's when the idea kind of came to him. What would happen if we just stored a couple of these bottles under the ocean for fun? After keeping them underwater for almost a full year, they pulled them out, and what they learned was that the wines had undergone sort of like a hyper-accelerated aging process. The wines were a lot more smooth and mellow. They were less tannic, the flavor profile was more complex, and they theorized that this aging process happened for several reasons. One, because there's very little sunlight exposure down at the bottom of the ocean. Two, the temperatures are consistently cool down there, so you have a stable environment. And then three, the general rocking of the ocean actually breaks the wines down in the bottle. So I'm sure you want to know what the process is. I found this to be fairly interesting. They have to work with every winery to put a composite cork in the bottle first and foremost, because regular cork would probably disintegrate underwater. And then they double wax seal the top of the bottle. And then every bottle gets put into a cage, and then they get submerged 100 feet below the surface in the Adriatic Sea. According to the Wine of the Sea website, every bottle is aged underwater for a minimum of 1 year, in some cases up to 2 years. So one of the things that I think needs to be clarified here is that Wine of the Sea is not actually making their own wine. They're buying it from other local producers. Because they're on the Adriatic, so is Italy, so a lot of the selection that's on the website is Italian wine. I did notice there were a couple of French ones, and there's also a few German ones as well. All right, so now that we know a little bit about the background of this wine, we should definitely taste it. So when I first received this, it was shipped in a cardboard box with packing peanuts, and then inside the box itself was bubble wrap around the wine, so they really do a good job of protecting it. This box is nice too if you want to give this as a gift to somebody. Nice and decorative, and a lot of collectors like to put boxes in their cellars. And Sophia, who's my contact over at Wine of the Sea, told me two things before I open it. One, open it about 3 hours before you're going to serve it because it needs a lot of time to really come out of the bottle. And the second thing she said was to really be careful touching the barnacles because they're super sharp. So the wine that they sent me, and I'm being very careful here, I don't want to cut myself to death, is an Italian Barolo. If you know a little bit about wine, Barolo is one of the most classic, sought-after Italian wines in the world. It comes from the northern region of Piedmont. It's made from a grape called Nebbiolo, and it's noteworthy for being able to age for extended lengths of time, upwards of 50 years or more. It used to be called the King of Wines and the Wine of Kings because at one point in time it was connected to Italian royalty. If you're going to age something under the ocean, this is definitely one of those wines that could take it. And the winemaker is Marchese D'Azeglio. They're a very well-known producer in the Serralunga d'Albo region of Piedmont. It's a 2017 vintage, so it's got 7 years of age on it. And relatively speaking, as a professional, I kind of know what to expect from a 7-year-old Barolo, so it'll be interesting to see if the underwater process has added anything to it. Okay, so it's nice and clean. There's no barnacles in it or anything like that. It's also pretty fresh and vibrant looking too for a Barolo. Typically Barolo starts to turn a little brown at this age. This is still nice and red. It's kind of got like a garnet color to it. It's nice and intense. It's very fresh and vibrant still for a wine this age. Full of sour cherry, pomegranate, a little cranberry in there as well. Definitely some licorice, which is a hallmark of good Barolo, and maybe even a little tar. I know that sounds interesting, but tar is one of those signature flavors that Barolo gets as it starts to age. It's still pretty tannic. I can't imagine how tannic it was before they put it under the ocean, but that is typical of Barolo. Barolo is well known for its high acidity and its high tannins as well. And that's one of the reasons why it's a great wine to age in your cellar. It's still nice and vibrant though, full of fresh red fruits, pomegranate, sour cherry, a little hint of vanilla, and maybe some earthy notes in there too, a little tobacco. As a wine professional, if I were tasting this blind and I had to guess how old it was, I would say closer to 10 years. So there are some maturity notes in here that are drinking beyond a 7-year-old Barolo. It seems like the process maybe adds something to the wine. So I wanted to see what we were starting with here. I looked up the bottle online to see what it retails for. Before it's submerged into the ocean, you can buy it off the shelf for anywhere from $60 to $70 a bottle. So you're already starting out with a pretty nice Barolo. So I'm sure by this point you're all wondering what something like this cost. You might want to brace yourselves here because this is not exactly a cheap affair. This bottle here retails online for anywhere from $279 to $349. So if you're getting this as a gift for somebody, be sure that you really like them a lot. So for me, the takeaway here is that you're getting a very high quality, ageable, collectible wine that any savvy wine lover would be happy to have. And as an added bonus, it just happens to come with a really cool backstory. And most wine people I know love a good story. So thanks so much for hanging with me today and checking out Wine of the Sea. Hope you learned something. Maybe you'll get one for yourself. And thank you to Sophia and Wine of the Sea for the opportunity to taste it. I thought it was really neat. I will leave all the information that I have on where to get Wine of the Sea down in the text below. If you have any thoughts, comments, or feedback, be sure to leave them in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you haven't yet, do me a favor, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because every little bit of support helps. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.